It's another morning in Los Angeles, and everyone goes about their daily business in the crowded streets. Mike, the city's new emergency manager, prepares breakfast for him and his 13-year-old daughter Kelly before going to work. Kelly has had some issues with her adoption due to her recent divorce of her parents. A father and daughter were supposed to go on vacation today, but a sudden earthquake shook the city. Short but very strong, in the hospital Dr. Calder has to hold up a patient to prevent him from falling off the stretcher. Mike still has an emergency and decides to go to work instead of vacation, while Kelly remains with the babysitter. When he arrives at the office, his colleague Emmett tells him that the earthquake didn't do much damage and that he should go on vacation again. However, when Mike checks it out for himself, he finds that the water pipe has burst and the gas is gone. Meanwhile, some construction workers at the park are betting on the scale of the earthquake as they work to extend the Red Line subway. Suddenly you hear a noise and are shocked to see a strange yellow gas coming out of the tunnel. Half of his body was burned as he rushed to rescue him from the tunnel. After hearing the report, Mike went to the park and found several bodies burned. Everyone blames his team, but Mike doesn't believe it. He attempts to shut down the subway line that ran parallel to the murder scene, but MTA chairman Oliver refuses, saying he does not believe the train is in danger. Oliver is so proud of his project that he even ignores calls to halt railroad construction. Meanwhile, the body was taken to forensics for examination, and Calder was shocked to discover that something strange smelled from the victim's burns, suggesting it wasn't steam or gas. Sometime later, Emmett also shows up at the park and tries to take Mike out of the case as gas leaks are not her interest, but Mike is adamant. Mike and his colleague Gator decide to break the rules and enter the sewers to search for clues. After walking around for a while, you notice that the air is getting hot and the smoke is making it hard to breathe. It's a tunnel right next to the subway, so it shakes every time a train passes. Looking down, Gator sees a pile of burnt mice and realizes that their rubber gloves have also melted. Suddenly, searing gases erupted from cracks in the concrete and flooded the tunnel. The two were forced to flee as quickly as possible to avoid being burned alive. Mike finds evidence and orders Emmett to close the park. Sometime later, Oliver brings in a geologist, Amy, who tells her that the entire city is geologically unstable and that she shouldn't blow up the tunnels underground. Mike takes her to her park and she does her studies with some machines. The conclusion she draws seems a bit outlandish. She believes a volcano is growing rapidly under the city, causing lava to flow underground. Unfortunately, it's still a theory, with no evidence to convince Mike, who thinks the idea of having lava in LA is ludicrous. Meanwhile, no one notices that the statues in the park's fountain are slowly sinking. Later that night, Amy and her assistant Rachel investigate the storm drain accident site and discover cracks in the ground from which gas had previously been released. The two were wandering through underground tunnels, taking samples and seeking explanations, when suddenly another earthquake shook the area. This one is more powerful and reduces the power consumption of the entire city. At home, Mike jumps out of bed to find his daughter and takes her to safety. Underground, night train drivers tried to stop the carriages, but they still collided with falling debris. The shaking creates a hole in the tunnel the scientists are in, and Rachel falls and gets stuck at the edge. Amy tries to save her, but her smoke thickens and the tunnel heats up quickly. A steam explosion of flames hits Rachel and incinerates her, leaving Amy in shock. Upon exiting the tunnel, I noticed that the well water was boiling. The generators are turned on one by one in the city's most important buildings. Thinking he can protect her at the office, Mike leaves her house and takes Kelly with him. Suddenly, gigantic steam geysers begin to overflow from every ditch in the street. The car stops and waits, but the situation has worsened and now there is smoke everywhere and stones are falling. Mike watches in shock as small stones are replaced with actual lava bombs, a huge curtain of smoke that causes fires whenever they collide. Some houses explode, destroying buildings, traffic lights and other structures, and falling debris causes accidents with panicked residents trying to flee in their cars. At the MTA office, Oliver learns that the train is stuck in a tunnel and decides to lead a team to rescue it. Meanwhile, the driver calms the frightened passenger and tries to get out of the car, but the door closes. Back on the road, Calder was also stuck in traffic, watching a lava bomb hit one of the oncoming fire trucks. Mike pulls over to calm the townspeople, but many have already looted the store. Someone steals Amy's equipment, distracted by the fact that ash is falling everywhere. As the firefighters do their best to respond to the disaster, Mike tries to get to the office, but stops again when he sees Calder tending to the injured. She tells of the fire engine overturning and Mike rushes off to help the firefighters, but everyone freezes as the town starts ringing. Suddenly, another earthquake shook the area, destroying buildings and splattering broken glass. Mike shockingly watches Amy's theory come to life when a newly formed volcano erupts from the town's tar pits and lava begins to flow freely down Wilshire Boulevard, consuming everything in its path. Lava soon begins to destroy the vehicle, and a horrified Kelly gets out of the car, calling for help from his father. Her lava bomb falls near her, setting her pants on fire, so Mike runs to her and helps put out her fire before picking her up. Surrounded by lava, Mike jumps in his car to escape, heading to safety just before the lava engulfs his car. Afterwards, Lava pursues an overturned fire engine and a fighter plane tries to rescue his trapped colleague but is too late, and lava kills them both. When another lava eruption again causes a huge explosion, Mike hands Kelly over to Calder and takes him to the hospital with the other injured. Kelly asks her father to come with her, but again Mike prioritizes her work and leaves Kelly behind. Soon, a helicopter carrying reporters flew over the area, showing lava moving slowly down the main streets of Los Angeles. People abandon their homes when they start to fall into disrepair, but a cute dog always steals a bone before returning to its owner. Soon, Amy joins Mike to help police and firefighters plan a safe evacuation and try to control lava. Mike wants to build a passageway that will prevent the lava from reaching the rest of Los Angeles, so they all push the bus away and shoot the tires to use the vehicle as a wall. Later, Mike and Amy try to rescue the unconscious body to safety, but are blocked by a falling burning tree. Firefighters lowered a ladder, the duo put the body on it, grabbed the edge and fled. As the ladder moved over the lava, the victim's leg caught fire, and the three scrambled to extinguish the fire. The movement causes the ladder to sway and break, but fortunately it falls to safety outside the lava, and firefighters quickly come to the rescue. Amy begins to think she should abandon town and concentrate on evacuating, but Mike comes up with a plan. Soon, police, city officials and firefighters will be grabbing jackhammers and other tools and hitting the streets to keep the lava away from key locations. Meanwhile, the Red Line's tunnels also begin to fill with lava, and Orver leads the team to the crashed train in search of survivors. Everyone is knocked unconscious and has to be dragged out of the car, but at least they are safe. As the lava approaches, Orver realizes the engineer is still missing and returns to find him. The driver is alive but unconscious, so Orver must pick him up and leave. With each step his shoes melt, lava reaches the train and begins to melt him. Feeling guilty about his handling of the situation, Oliver dove into the lava and threw his driver at the team, killing him. Back to Amy's story. She picks up a basketball from the store and puts it on her floor and it starts rolling on its own. This shows the slope of the ground that carries the lava towards the gas station. Workers continue to push cars and other vehicles away from the lava, but they are not very efficient. A party of ambulances eventually arrived, and Mike and Amy planned to build a concrete barricade at the intersection of Wilshire Boulevard and Fairfax Street, creating a dead end where lava would collect while the helicopters sprayed water and formed a crust. Immediately, all available people, including the few remaining civilians, begin pushing away all the available rubble, but Mike directs them with systematic orders to keep the barricades pointing in the right direction. Meanwhile, veterinarians have also started rescuing animals from medical tents. Calder helps some children burn and asks Kelly to entertain them until his parents are found. Back on the street, a cordon has been set up and firefighters are spraying water with hoses and truck guns. Helicopters soon joined the team and succeeded in dispersing more water and solidifying it until it stopped. Everyone cheers and celebrates as the epidemic has stopped. However, Amy is still worried and enters the subway tunnel to check again. Using a device, she confirmed that the lava was still moving underground. She calls Mike and explains that the lava didn't stop, it just moved to another location, comparing the impending eruption to the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. Lava flows through an extension of the Red Line subway, and according to their calculations, the main eruption occurred at the line's terminus, Beverly Center, where medical tents have been set up. Mike soon joins Amy at the end of the line, and they lower the video camera into the tunnel to monitor it, only to be incinerated by the fast-moving lava flow. Mike must push Amy away before the flames spread to the streets. They analyzed the velocities they observed inside the tunnel and found that lava would erupt at the end of the Red Line within 30 minutes. After calling Emmett to begin evacuating the medical tent, Mike discusses options with Amy, but he begins to lose hope. Luckily, Mike saw the building and got an idea. Using explosives to create channels in roads, lava flows can be diverted into Barona creeks and eventually pour into the Pacific Ocean. The road is backward sloping, but the problem can be solved by demolishing the 22-story apartment building to prevent lava from flowing into the city. Mike asks Amy to find her daughter while the team prepares explosives. However, when Amy goes to a victims group, it turns out that Amy is missing, having lost one of her children, and she is looking for Amy. Back to the team. He only has 20 minutes to set everything up, so they're running around. Gator and his men plant a bomb in the center, just as the area begins to shake again with an earthquake. A massive eruption occurred earlier than expected, devastating roads, causing everyone to panic and many patients to catch fire while evacuating. In the center, one of the workers was crushed under an earthquake-destroyed central pillar, but Gator was not strong enough to push it away. Lava draws near, but Gator refuses to abandon his mission, choosing a sacrifice to detonate the final charge. One by one, the explosives begin to detonate, when Mike notices Kelly and a boy in the path of the explosion. He ran as fast as he could, knocking his daughter and boy to the ground as the entire building collapsed. Luckily, the plan worked perfectly and the resulting tunnel successfully channeled the lava into the ocean. As the people celebrate their victory, Amy looks for her new friend. Suddenly, a hand emerges from the rubble and Mike comes to life with Kelly and a young child. The child realized that everyone was covered in ash until it started to rain and the ash was washed away, and that everyone looked the same regardless of race. Amy admits she would have sacrificed half the town if she was in charge, and thanks Mike for teaching her not to give up. Just then, Emmett comes in telling Mike of a new emergency, but Mike declines, saying he's going on vacation with her daughter. In the face of a catastrophic earthquake and volcanic eruption, Mike's heroic efforts and strategic thinking prevent further devastation in Los Angeles, showcasing the strength of the human spirit. With unwavering dedication to his duty as an emergency manager and the safety of his daughter, Mike exemplifies the power of love and resilience, leaving an indelible mark on the city and its people. The harrowing events serve as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of unity in times of crisis.